Alright YouTube, so we are back of course to talk about some Final Fantasy VII, and we are back with what is kind of a series on the channel, I suppose. We've done a handful of these videos where we look way too much into Final Fantasy VII. Now before we even hop into it, from the very beginning I want to make it known that yes, I am aware that I look way too much into these things. I'm aware that this is a video game that we are discussing, but that is legitimately the point of this series of videos. But despite me saying all this, I will still have somebody commenting on the video, unironically, to say, you're looking way too much into it, man. It's just a video game. So I want to reiterate one more time that that is the point of this video. Just to make that clear. Hopefully, everybody understands. Anyways, let's hop into it. So this is a video I've had on the back burner for a while. I write down video ideas all the time in like a notebook or whatever. And I don't remember what I was doing at the time that gave me this video idea. But I wanted to talk about Sephiroth and the Black Materia within the original Final Fantasy VII. So the gist of this video and why Sephiroth and the Black Materia doesn't make any sense is that pretty much after the Temple of the Ancients segment, the entire story, or the rest of the story, is very contrived. So the Sephiroth Jenova clone that we see throughout the majority of the Final Fantasy VII stories' entire goal is to get the Black Materia and take it to the actual Sephiroth within the Northern Cave, the North Crater, right? So why exactly is it that we ever see the Jenova Sephiroth clone any point after that? Right after the Temple of the Ancients segment, we wake up within Gungaga Village, right? An undisclosed amount of time has passed, whether it's like a single night, a day, whatever. Why is it that the Sephiroth clone didn't just fly directly to the Northern Cave to just give the Black Materia to the actual Sephiroth? We know based on the Shinra manner that Sephiroth can fly, so in the time it took for Cloud to wake back up, that Sephiroth could have already flown to the Northern Cave and given the Black Materia to the actual Sephiroth, thus fulfilling his plan. But even if you took the flight ability out of the equation for some reason, that Sephiroth could have still traveled to the Northern Cave in the time it took for Cloud to wake up. Now, obviously, Sephiroth wanted to stop Aerith, which is, of course, where we get one of the most iconic character deaths in video game history. But, again, we don't know how much time has passed. Like, has Cloud been asleep for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, 2 hours? What's it been? They had to travel all the way back from the Temple of the Ancients, whenever it got crushed down into the Black Materia, all the way back to Gungaga Village, which is before Cosmo Canyon, right? It's pretty far away on the map. Like, if it was a realistic world, that is. And then they have to travel from Gungaga Village all the way back to the Temple of the Ancients, the forest, all that stuff, and get to the City of the Ancients. So again, if this was a realistic world in terms of spacing between locations, to travel from Temple of the Ancients to Gungaga Village and then back would be at least several hours and hours, or even a day or two, right? So again, just to make this point kind of clear, and then we'll move on, the Sephiroth clone could have, in that amount of time, already delivered the Black Materia to the actual Sephiroth. Something else that kind of stuck out as odd to me is that Sephiroth waits around for us, the group, the player, to get the Black Materia to then take it from us, right? When that was never needed. And to be clear, I don't know the ins and outs of the fake Sephiroth that we're seeing throughout 99% of the game, but why couldn't another one of those just be created and that fake Sephiroth go itself into the Temple of the Ancients, grab the Black Materia, get crushed, and then another fake Sephiroth come along and just get the Black Materia? Like, why could that not be done? Or why couldn't the fake Sephiroth take one of the cloaked guys we're seeing throughout the game, one of the reunion guys? Why can't they make one of them go into the Temple of the Ancients, grab the Black Materia, get crushed, and then Sephiroth grab the Black Materia? Again, when you really put it under a microscope, the story for Final Fantasy VII, at least with the Black Materia stuff, seems super contrived. He never really needed us. He had the means himself to get the Black Materia. Never needed the main group of characters. Could have got it by a plethora of other means. And to further drive this point home, Sephiroth gained knowledge of the Black Materia while being in the live stream. After the Nibelheim incident and Cloud stabbing him and throwing him into the live stream, that's where he gained knowledge of the Black Materia and being able to destroy or very much wound the planet, right? And all that takes place at least a couple of years before the events of Final Fantasy VII. Now, I don't know how long he was in the live stream before he gained knowledge of the Black Materia or was able to create a Sephiroth clone, whatever, all that. I don't think that's in the lore. But the point is, he's known about the Black Materia for a very long time. So, whenever that first Sephiroth clone is created, that we see throughout the entire Final Fantasy VII game is created, why didn't that clone go directly to the Temple of the Ancients, get the Black Materia, take it to Sephiroth in the North Cave? Like, realistically, the entire Final Fantasy VII story could have been avoided. Sephiroth could have gained the Black Materia without anybody ever knowing or finding out, until, of course, whenever the weapons that are within the planet would have came out and started rampaging on the planet, then people would know that something's up. But the point is, he could have gained the Black Materia without really anybody ever knowing. And while this isn't a part of the Final Fantasy VII story and lore, it came out afterwards with Crisis Core, we learned that Supernova is actually Sephiroth's limit break, which is where he pulls a comet, meteor, whatever, from space, crashes it into the sun, blows up the sun, and goes supernova, and destroys most of our solar system, which means that Sephiroth would already have the ability to pull something out of space and crash it into Gaia if he wanted to. But again, that's Crisis Core lore. But even if you want to say that Sephiroth did need our group, maybe he couldn't figure out the Temple of the Ancients puzzle, which I find hard to believe because he's pretty much omnipotent and he's reading the murals and stuff on the wall, so he seems to understand their language. It doesn't matter anyways, because as soon as the temple got turned into Black Materia, he should have taken it to himself. So for all the reasons we discussed within this video, Sephiroth and the Black Materia literally doesn't make any sense. This one's not necessarily as bad as the ones we looked at in the past when it comes to, like Aerith's death scene and Cloud killing Sephiroth and of course the Emerald Weapon fight. Those we looked at the game in a very realistic tone and setting, and all of those scenes and settings don't make any sense. This one, obviously, it's a video game. You need a plot. I get it. I understand it. But if we're looking at it really honestly, and Sephiroth wanted to succeed in his plan, he easily could have. Anyways, but that's pretty much the video. I'm not sure exactly when we'll next do one of these videos. We've done only a handful on the channel. I really need to actually sit down and play through the original Final Fantasy VII again. It's been a little while since we've done that. We've mostly been focusing on a remake this year. But I would like to actually play through that game again just in general. But also playing through it again would maybe allow me to get more video ideas like these. Anyways, my dudes, that is the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you guys already will stay updated with more Final Fantasy VII content. Turn on my notifications. Follow me on Twitter, @dashingdavid. And my Discord. Links to my social networks are in the description. And in the outro. Later, guys.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Rogaine, or leave it like Cobain.